Let's talk Mental Health Matters with Dr. Ola Ajile on the Veil of Sanity. Dissecting the mind, Dr. Ajile is a psychiatrist and forensic physician in the UK.
Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about domestic violence and domestic abuse. It is mainly a gendered crime, deeply rooted in our society because of inequalities between men and women. And it affects women more disproportionately, particularly in the African culture. And that has so many, reasons associated with it. Now, it is blind to race. It is also blind to ethnicity. It's blind to sexuality, class, religious group, and disability. Anyone can be a victim and anyone can experience domestic abuse. It can also exist as a form of other family violence like forced marriage, female genital mutilation, honor crime in some, communities and culture. And in today's world with, internet and Facebook, people have been known to go as far as digital and online abuse, releasing, partners' nudity without, consent, and of course some private conversation or details. And this also can be classed as domestic abuse. So about domestic violence in the context of marriage and cohabitation, I think it's important to lay a good definition of what marriage is. It is also called matrimony or wedlock, the culturally recognized union between people called spouses that establishes rights and obligations between them, and as well between them and their children, and between them and their in-laws. So it is a very vast kind of relationship, and typically it is an institution in which interpersonal relationships, usually sexual, are acknowledged or sanctioned. And cohabitation, on the other hand, is an arrangement where two or more people are not married but live together. They are often involved in romantic or sexually intimate relationship on a long-term or permanent basis. Now, such arrangements have become increasingly common, I have to say, in the Western society since the 20th century, and it's been led by a lot of issues, changing social values, especially regarding marriage and gender roles and religion. So in this kind of situation and setting, we can have domestic violence and domestic abuse in marriage and cohabitation. Next slide. Now we're going to be looking into the pictures of domestic abuse, or otherwise called spousal abuse. Now, these are not good sights. You can see the man there trying to eat the woman, and the children very petrified, very distressed about this. You can see the face of the man there. This is not a picture anyone would like to see. It is not good at all. Now, if you go to the next slide, now we can see another image of the man trying to strangle the woman. This is actually the kind of situation that happens in people's privacy. And sometimes it can extend to the public glare. And these are not good sights. And, it's not some situation anyone would want to find himself or herself. Now, you can see the fright and the fear in the face of the woman. And you can see the extent of dehumanization that is happening here. The man standing and the woman obviously, almost on the ground. And this is, a very difficult sight and situation for anyone to be in. And this is the kind of domestic abuse that exists. And it's not only man to woman. Now we're going to see the situation with woman to man. Now, this is another picture here. I thought we should bring those images to us so that we can have a vivid idea of how this looks like, and then we can put it in perspective in our personal lives. Or if we know anyone, in this situation, this is not what a Christian should be doing. This is not how a Christian home should be operating. And it's a very difficult thing to see, a man and a woman in this kind of situation in their home environment. So, it can occur as husband battery as well. So it's not just the woman who is battering, it's not just the man who is battering the woman. Next slide. Now, we can see the man also being very helpless, broken, weakened, and the woman is intentional and driven to harm, to cause pain, to cause distress to this man. So it can happen both ways, but the underlying factors and the underlying determinants of this is anger, which we're going to talk a little bit more in greater details.